a challenge to establish your professional brand. I am Brianna Baker, and I am so excited that you are back to discuss day three, the brand kit, the visual identity with strategy. So, when we talk about building our brand with our visuals, we are talking about selecting our colors, fonts, imagery, creating a mood board using Canva or Pinterest, understanding color psychology, font impact, and then the visual identity must match your tone. And so, in that, this session is going to be a little shorter so that you can really take time to figure out your visuals. So, the main points here I wanted to highlight are primary colors, secondary, accent. So, making sure that you have your three color focal points, and then your header font and your body font. And then, what are three words that describe your brand's feeling? Like when people are interacting with your brand, what feeling should they get? So let's break it down by industry. Authors first. Authors, choose colors and fonts that match the tone of your book. And so if you're talking about something that's lighthearted, you might want to use brighter colors. If you're talking about something that has a little bit of a dark side to it, or something that has like a dimmer feel, you might want to use darker tones. If you write fiction, evoke a mood. If you write self-help or nonfiction, lean into clarity and structure. As I showed you guys my client's book cover up here, it has some flowers behind it and also a door, because the reflection is what's on the other side. And so we chose the door with the flowers to show growth and also entering into growth, or entering into a more reflective outlook of what has taken place. And she was all about, or she is all about home and safety. And so there's safety in Christ. So those are just some of the themes or reasons behind the cover choice. And so, what do your cover, book covers, promo graphics, and author site, what feeling do people get? Right? That's something to consider. What feeling do people get? Okay. Good authors. I want to actually pause for a second, and I want to show the client's website, just so you guys can have an understanding of what I mean when I say being able to showcase the feel of your client, or your, excuse me, author website. So here it is. All right, so we are now on the author's website. This is Paula. And so as you guys can see, coming straight into it, it is paulawitherspoon.com. And so we have a question here. What do you see in the mirror? And so as you are reflecting, it says God defines you and gives you your identity. Learn more about this in the new book, Reflections, Pieces from the Heart. And so here we have the release date and the cover, and we have two ways for you to purchase and a contact page. And if you scroll back up to the top, you'll actually see an about page, which gives you more about Paula and her life. And then the last thing you have here is the store. And that's pre-ordering the book there. She has copies on hand that she is signing, and so you can pre-order the book there. And so with that, right, the same color or the same tones within the book cover are actually being expressed even through the website. And so all of this was created by Bree Brands Consulting. And so if that's something of interest for all of my authors, we can chat. Awesome. All right, so now we're back. Let's talk to the podcasters. Podcasters, think about your podcast cover, audiograms, reels, the feeling. What feeling do you want people to have when they scroll past? So when they get that 1 minute or 30-second, and guess what? With the new update, there's actually like 3 minutes available when it comes to making reels. So whatever that time frame is with your podcast clip, what are they getting from that clip? Do your colors pop on mobile? Does your brand say funny and honest or professional and polished? So what feeling are you trying to evoke when you are talking about your podcast? All right. So let's see. I am going to take a moment now to show the next page. Just give me a moment. Awesome. All right. So let's share. So this podcast page is for Motivate to Millions. And so the first question is, do you need motivation? And so as you scroll through, you see the learn more. That actually takes you to a different page. You learn about the host here. And you see listen now. Watch the episodes right there on YouTube. Oh, a new ebook coming out. Add your email by clicking there. And of course, share and contact. And so this is a great way to showcase your podcast in a short, compact way. And so as you scroll through, it is giving off like focus, it's giving off motivation, just like a zone in. All right. And so that's something to consider when you are creating your pages. Hope this is helping. Let's go to the next. Coaches, is your brand calm and nurturing or fierce and motivational? What vibes does your Instagram feed or webinar slides? What type of feed do you have with your slide deck? Okay, what's the vibe? What's the feeling? Like a lot of times when coaches are sharing, people want to almost like get a preview. Like, what's the preview of what you're getting ready to give us? And so this is not a personal client. But I do want to showcase her page. This is Dr. Latanya Moore. And I have been a part of various Zoom sessions that she's had. I have really gained a lot from her. And so I want to take a moment just to share her page. She is a ministry consultant, speaker, and she has her own courses. And as we scroll through her website, she has established her brand colors to be a dark teal with gold. And as you can see, she's breaking down what her focal points are. And as you go through the page, you are very clear on what you're getting ready to get from her platform. And she always talks about keys, her strategies. They are keys to what God has for you. And then, of course, courses. And then you can connect with her on social media. And so her page, her website, really gives that detail. Now, I did mention something about courses. And so as we click here, here are the courses, right? And so for Kingdom Builders. And as you click on each one, it opens up and you're able to purchase. But she gives you like a short blurb there about each one. And then, of course, when you click on it, it goes into more detail. And so that for me as a coach is very clear on what type of focal points come with your coaching. And of course, she's a ministry consultant. So she's talking to Christian business owners, but also mainly speaking to churches to help reestablish their platforms. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, let's get back. So, creating a brand board, you can use Canva, Pinterest, or take it old school. Find magazine clips that really help you to bring together what you want your brand to look like. As I showed you 3 different brands, that gave us 3 different feelings and focuses. And so, when you are selecting your images, it could be 3 to 5 photos that really showcase what your brand is about. So let's take a look at some that I have created. All right. So looking at this particular brand, it is called Litmacy Candle Co. And so this is a let me make it full screen. There it is. So this brand vision here, it speaks about eco-friendly luxury candles that set the mood of any space in your home. The scents create a captivating aroma to change the atmosphere and create a lit vibe. And so now we have our logo variations. So when the client is creating various creating their website or having some type of materials created, they can go based off of these hex codes, HEX codes. Hex codes are so important because that is going to help your website developer, your PowerPoint, any type of professional materials to really coordinate with your brand. So as you can see, the logo has those colors. And if you look to the right here, the color palette. So having your hex codes are so important because that's going to really help bring in or bring the messaging all together. All right. Now, fonts. Here we go. The fonts that were used to create the logo are the exact same fonts that you would like to give like to establish for your brand. So anything that you create, you want it to go back to consistent branding. Every post, every flyer should have this theme. And then what are some keywords here? Home fragrance, black owned candle, luxury candle, soy wax. Because that's also going to help when it comes to social media hashtags. So consider that. Next page. So now we have the logos, we have the mood board, which I told you you have to pull 3 to 5 images that really highlight what brand feeling you're striving to have. And so this client was striving to have a luxury candle brand. And so you can see the submark there. You can also see the topography, excuse me. And so when you see that, and I probably said that wrong too, so forgive me for those with my pronunciation, but you get the point. That's the fonts. And then the last one here is the color. So this is a summarization in a different format from what we just saw in the previous page. And then lastly, I took it an extra step and created some brand samples. So what would this logo look like on some brand materials, aka candles? And so I tried to choose a candle that fit what the client shared they were going for. And so there you have it. So that's example 1. How do you guys feel about that? That's bringing all of your ideas together into one. Good? All right. So let's go to idea number 2. This is a different client that I've worked with. And let me back up for a moment. I got a little bit ahead of myself. So forgive me. Let's get back. Let's get back. Okay. And now full screen. Awesome, awesome. So this particular brand, I kept it at one page. And so as you can see here, I'm zooming in for us. You have at the top the main logo, which the brand is called Curvy Cocktails, which is a mobile bartending services company. And so we utilize that for the main logo. If you look to the left here, we have the Sub Mark 1 and then Sub Mark 2. So always when you're thinking about your logos, have a logo that you could picture on a shirt. Like, I don't want us to think small. I want us to think big. So when you're thinking about your branding, I want you to think, if I put this on a shirt in a corner, right, for the pocket size, if I enlarged it for like a chest size, if I put it on a bag, if I put it on a cup. So I want you to think about, if I put it on a sticker, make sure that your brand, it can flow with those variations. That's why when you're working with a designer, they're going to give you variations of the same logo. So you can see McDonald's written out, but you also see the M over the word McDonald's, and then you just see the yellow M. So all three are the variations, which is what you see right here. You see the main one with the martini glass. You see the Submark 1 that does not have the glass, and then you see Submark 2 that has the glass and has the title Mobile Bartending Services. So even though you don't see Curvy Cocktails, you do see that same martini glass from the main one. So as a person working with this brand, you will have brand consistency and also brand awareness that, oh, this cocktail equals Curvy Cocktails. Good. I see you catching on. Now, going into part 2, which is your brand colors. Like I said previously, you have to have the hex code, HEX code. That is going to be very beneficial with consistency. As you look at this complete board, it is consistent. All the colors correlate. Can you say it with me? Correlate and coordinate. Yes, yes. All right. You got the brand fonts here, which I give you an example, and then the name to the right. And lastly, what is the feeling of the brand? Fun, attractive, on the go. And then I gave you 3 pictures that represent what the client was going for. So this is, again, example 2 of a brand board. So again, when you're working with a designer, this would be like gold for you to have all of this laid out for them. If they're making your website or making flyers, this would be golden. Now, for the person who came to the challenge, they're like, that's why I came to the challenge. Awesome. Now that you have seen 2 examples, you can do it, or at least find photos and write out the name, or do some font choices on Word, or do some font choices on PowerPoint if you don't have access to Canva, to really just help you with figuring out what I want to do. Let me show you a quick hack, because I think this is going to be beneficial to us as you are preparing your brand board. So I want you to go to Google or Safari, whichever platform or web browser that you like to use. And I want you to type in 3 words. Type in 3 words. Brand, font, pairs. Say it again. Brand, font, pairs. And as you look up these font pairs, I'm just going to click on one for the sake of example. This is going to help us figure out what fonts do we want for our brand. And right underneath is showing you or telling you what each font is. So the top font is JV Signature. The bottom font is Uniform. And so you can screenshot this or write it down. There's also another platform that you guys can look into, which is called the DA Font. When you go to this platform, it's actually a website. I'm just showing you the picture of it, but the website is called DaFont, DaFont, and you can begin to look at different fonts there. And there you go right there, dafont.com. But you look at, this is what the website looks like. And you go there and you just, look up, you type in your brand name, right? Like, let's say your brand name is Motivate to Millions Podcast. So you type in Motivate to Millions Podcast, and then this website will show you how will Motivate to Millions Podcast look with this font or that font, etc. So let's try it. Let's try it. Okay, so we are officially on the website called DaFont. And as you can see here, they put about 5 newly added fonts at the main page here. But what I was referring to is over here to the right-hand side. So what you could do is just type in, let's just say podcast for fun. All right, search. Oh, I'm sorry. That's where you search the fonts. Let's see here. Let me go here. All right, let me pick one. So you pick one, and I was hoping to show you, and I may have misspoken, but you can basically look at these fonts, and these fonts will just kind of help give you a preview of what they look like. So you get a preview of what they look like. What I plan to show you, there it is, preview text. All right, so you go on the new fonts, preview text. So let's just write podcast for fun. All right, search it. And so now you can say, oh, podcast for fun. Which font looks the best for podcast for fun? Look, if we were talking about dogs, that would be fun. Let's type that in. Doggy daycare. Let's type that in. Doggy daycare. All right. Search that up. And here we go. Look at that. So now you can see the font with your brand name to get an idea, like, do I really like this? And if you like it, you can just screenshot that or write it down, and you can share it with your brand consultant to help walk through how you want it to look. Or like I said, you could build it yourself. I want us all to have a hand in the process, and so that's why I'm taking time to show you all. So I hope that helped. I hope that preview gave some clarity. All right, so let's get back. Awesome. I hope this is helping you all with just creating different ideas when it comes to your branding. All right. And so with that being said, let's get to our homework. I want you to lock in on your color palette. The same process we did with finding brand font pairs, same process with colors. Figure out that hex code. Let's say you love pink, but you want a particular variation of pink. Type it in and just see. Type in pink hex codes, and you'll see different codes. Say, oh, I love code blah, 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 and you write it out, and there you go. Choose your fonts, and then choose or pick 3 words for feelings. Like, I want to feel bold, soulful, simple. And then create or screenshot a mood board and then share it in the group with your 3 brand words using the hashtag brand like a pro day 3. So with that being said, we have come to the end, and I hope that this has been a very beneficial conversation and session. I want you to get to work and make sure that you upload your finished product. There will be a brand kit link for you to use as a template in the comments, or you can DM template and I will send that over to you so that you can work on your brand board. Again, this is Brianna Baker of Bree Brands Consulting, and I will see you in the next session. Take care.